Here's Daniel from UK Football Reviews, and I have a really interesting video of all the Hypervenom Phantoms since the release date in 2013. Now, of course, I have the first generation in the middle, the second generation on my left, and of course the third generation on my right with the dynamic fit collar. Now, the generation of Hypervenoms has been really unusual because the Hypervenom 1 was better than the Hypervenom 2, but of course the Hypervenom 3 is definitely comparable to the Hypervenom 1 just due to the fact that its new features and the flying it upper. Hypervenom 2 was a great disappointment in my opinion, just because it just didn't live up to the standards that the Hypervenom 1 put forward and brought in new innovation, where this was very much a step back, I believe, with dynamic fit collar not necessarily justifying the purchase of these boots compared to the previous model. But in terms of where it's led up to, it's given the Hypervenom 3 a much easier way to step up compared to the Hypervenom Phantom 2, and just allows them to prove that the Hypervenom Phantom 3 is a better boot. Now onto the tech specs. What you found with the original was a honeycomb mesh with essentially an integrated tongue, not as integrated as the two on beside it, but features a asymmetrical lacing system which works really well, really hugged your forefoot and didn't necessarily have a problem in terms of slipping inside the boot. And the sole plate, of course, passed on to the second generation, which was so successful, and not necessarily the biggest highlight of the boot. My biggest highlight was by far the upper, and of course they released it again on the Hypervenom 2. That's how popular it was, and was of course featured the night skin for the first time on any boot. Then going on to the Hypervenom Phantom 2, what you found was a flying it collar essentially, which was integrated in the upper, and as you can see essentially connects to the upper via glue. Not necessarily the best way to do it, unlike the Hypervenom Phantom 3 as you can see there, but really did its job. Just gave that little bit extra lockdown, as the Hypervenom 1 didn't have the integrated upper, but also featured the original stud pattern which was so popular, and in this particular colourway was a great way to start off the Hypervenom 2 range. Just a massive disappointment in terms of the hardness and lack of feel on the upper, which was a real disappointment because it had to live up to such high standards. Then going on to the Hypervenom Phantom 3, a brand new fresh look with a unusual dynamic fit collar, but I like it since it's just a different way to go, and slanted just makes it a little bit more interesting and unique to this particular boot. Brand new stud pattern, a little bit more aggressive, hexagonal studs going across, and of course ones that I believe were brought in from the Mercurial line, just give you that little bit extra traction on the ball. And the flying it upper itself is incredibly soft, and in terms of its thickness, it's a little bit thicker compared to the original Hypervenom 1, but this is a flying it, and of course this is just a night skin, so a little bit different, and the mesh is a little bit more padded, less padded, sorry, compared to the Hypervenom Phantom 3. But in terms of thickness, you're not going to, and the sensation you're getting on the ball, not much difference. Now, in terms of the way they're played, they're going to be worn by very similar players in the midfield area. So what you expect from the Hypervenom range is definitely what you get. And in terms of their price, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 and 3 retailed exactly the same, whereas the Hypervenom Phantom 1s were retailed at 130 quid. And that really brings me to the point where I believe that the price on the newer models is not justified at all compared to the original, because the original, in my opinion, was at the perfect price range, had all the features that you need, and all condition control is not necessarily the biggest aspect, but I believe the night skin aspect is. However, the Hypervenom Phantom 3 is definitely one I would go for in second place, and the Hypervenom Phantom 2 would be in third place. And this is just due to my love of the original boot, because it lived up to such high expectations, and of course the release of it was absolutely amazing. They really did advertise it very well throughout social media, and literally the list goes on. So that really brings me to the end of this video, guys. If you could like, that'd be greatly appreciated, and if you could comment which one you would have, I'll be really interested to know that. And of course, if you want more content like this, please subscribe. Alright, take care, guys.